Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark.
Amid Caitlin Clark's soaring star power this season, Brittney Griner's alleged slur directed at Indiana Fever's rookie has emerged as the WNBA's biggest crisis. Surprisingly, the league refuses to investigate the incident, leaving fans and players frustrated. Meanwhile, sports commentator Stephen A. Smith is vocally condemning Griner's alleged behavior, criticizing the league's apparent lack of accountability and cowardice. He's also calling out Commissioner Kathy Engelbert for failing to protect players and uphold integrity. As the controversy grows, it highlights deeper issues within the league's leadership and commitment to player safety, threatening to overshadow the season's on-court excitement.
When it comes to Caitlin Clark, now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along, and she wreaks havoc.
The Brittney Griner incident has ignited fierce discussions about double standards, league governance, and the treatment of the WNBA's most marketable star. This controversy has revealed underlying divisions within women's professional basketball, touching on issues of race, resentment, and the unprecedented spotlight Caitlin Clark's rise has brought to the sport. As tensions rise, it highlights ongoing challenges around fairness, leadership, and the league's ability to handle high-profile conflicts amid Clark's cultural explosion.
Folks, the WNBA already set a precedent. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said, because they've already shown us they don't need evidence. They don't need substance. They don't need any type of proof at all to launch a bogus investigation into Indiana Fever fans, so they shouldn't need any substance, any basis, any evidence to launch an investigation into any other fan, any other player, any other group. The WNBA set this precedent.
During a tense game between the Indiana Fever and Atlanta Dream on May 23, 2025, footage captured Brittney Griner seemingly making controversial remarks after fouling out. The viral clip shows Griner sitting on the bench, visibly frustrated, with lip readers interpreting her words as calling Caitlin Clark trash, followed by what some claim was effin' white girl. Due to unclear audio, interpretations vary, with others defending Griner by suggesting she may have said whack call instead. The incident has sparked widespread debate over sportsmanship, race, and the intensity of rivalries in women's professional basketball.
And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong.
The incident rapidly spread across social media, with numerous users sharing and discussing the clip across various platforms. Some posts drew parallels to Brittney Griner's 2022 prisoner swap involving arms dealer Victor Bout, fueling debates about perceived double standards within the WNBA. As the clip gained millions of views in just days, it sparked heightened scrutiny from fans, sports analysts, and political figures alike. The controversy fueled ongoing conversations about league culture, athlete behavior, and broader societal issues, highlighting how a single moment can ignite widespread debate and expose deeper tensions surrounding gender, race, and fairness in professional women's basketball.
Clearly, she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The
on
Merchant
American
of
Soul.
Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out. For her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. What made this incident especially inflammatory was the broader context surrounding Caitlin Clark's rookie season and the treatment she has faced from opponents and teammates. Throughout her first year in the WNBA, Clark has encountered what many observers describe as unusually aggressive play and targeted efforts by veteran players to intimidate her. The allegations against Griner seem to mark a shift from physical challenges to verbal confrontations with racial undertones. ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith was among the most vocal critics of Griner following the incident. In particular, he criticized Griner's attitude and perceived lack of gratitude after her high-profile return from Russian detention. During a podcast appearance, Smith expressed frustration with Griner's complaints about increased fan attendance and crowd noise at WNBA games, viewing her comments as ungrateful and dismissive. This added fuel to the controversy, highlighting ongoing tensions within the league and raising questions about athlete conduct and professionalism amid heightened scrutiny.
Okay, we're not gonna sit here and act like Brittney Griner was not in a Russian jail a couple of years ago. You know what I'm saying? So maybe she's still trying to adjust to regular stuff. But for you to be confused why fans are showing up to a basketball game and not to do their taxes or their homework. It's hard. It's hard for me to understand it.
Respectfully, Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison, Smith stated during his critique. You would think that someone who's now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. His remarks referenced Griner's 2022 detention in Russia on drug charges and her release through a prisoner exchange involving Victor Bout, the notorious arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. Smith's criticism extended beyond the specific Clark incident, addressing what he perceived as a broader attitude issue within the WNBA regarding the attention and success brought by Clark's emergence. He argued that rather than embracing the increased visibility, revenue, and fan engagement that Clark's rise generated, some players appeared resentful or ungrateful. Smith specifically called out what he saw as ingratitude from someone who had been rescued by the U.S. government and welcomed back into professional basketball. His comments highlighted ongoing tensions over athlete conduct and perceptions of entitlement within the league, adding fuel to the controversy surrounding Griner's behavior and the league's culture.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena.
The sports commentator's reaction struck a chord with many fans who believed that the WNBA's response to the situation revealed evident double standards. Smith's criticism carried additional weight because of his normally cautious approach to contentious issues and his long-standing support for women's basketball. Perhaps the most damaging element of this controversy for the league is its apparent reluctance to confront the allegations head-on. Despite a viral clip and widespread calls for an investigation, the WNBA has largely remained silent. This lack of response is especially troubling when compared to the league's quick action in other cases involving accusations of racism or misconduct. Critics have highlighted the league's investigation into unsubstantiated claims of racist chants by Indiana Fever fans, which took nearly 2 weeks to conclude, as evidence of inconsistent standards. Meanwhile, there has been no official acknowledgement or probe into the clear video evidence of Griner's alleged comments. This inconsistency has fueled accusations that the league enforces different rules based on the race of those involved, raising questions about fairness and impartiality. The silence and perceived bias have only intensified scrutiny and criticism from fans and observers, who believe the league needs to adopt a more transparent and equitable approach in handling such sensitive matters.
Now, so the way that it works is if no racism happens in the stands, the WNBA does a full investigation. If there are hard fouls on Caitlin Clark every night and Brittney Griner is using slurs, like pretty openly, against Caitlin Clark, then it's racism to even pay attention to any of that. You see, everything has to end in racism. If you were to create a flowchart, what it would look like is something racist didn't happen, therefore investigate racism. Or something maybe racist happened but was against a white person. You mentioning this is also probably racism against black people. If you want to get people never to watch the WNBA, this is an amazing way to do it. Truly an amazing way to do it. Because if the league is going to be rooted in this sort of nastiness with regard to its only real star, good luck to them. And we'll see what the viewership is like in the WNBA. Truly, truly idiocy.
The double standard becomes evident when examining the WNBA's recent No Space for Hate campaign, launched just days before the Griner incident. The campaign aimed to promote anti-racism and foster an inclusive environment for players and fans alike. Critics contend that the league's failure to address Griner's alleged comments undermines the credibility of this initiative, implying that some forms of hate speech are tolerated more than others. Several commentators have pointed out that if the roles were reversed, if a white player had made similar remarks about a black player, the response would likely have been swift and harsh. This perceived inconsistency has fueled accusations that the WNBA prioritizes certain narratives over fair and equal treatment. Many believe that the league's inaction suggests a bias that favors avoiding controversy rather than holding players accountable for all forms of misconduct, regardless of race.
Did you catch that? Brittney Griner calling Caitlin Clark trash and a effing white girl during a game? Now, imagine if the roles were reversed. If Caitlin had called Griner trash and followed it with effing black girl. The outrage will be instant. Headlines, public backlash, suspensions, and major sponsors pulling out. But because it was said to a white athlete, many are brushing it off or even laughing. That's a dangerous double standard.
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has come under intense scrutiny for her handling of various controversies involving Caitlin Clark, especially her response to the Clark-Reese rivalry and broader concerns about player treatment. Engelbert's previous remarks comparing the Clark-Reese dynamic to the Larry Bird-Magic Johnson rivalry drew criticism from players and the union for not sufficiently addressing racist behaviors from some fan bases. In a September 2024 interview on CNBC's Power Lunch, Engelbert was directly asked about the increasingly darker, more menacing tone of social media interactions, particularly around issues of race and sexuality. Instead of condemning racist and abusive behavior outright, she emphasized the positive aspects of the rivalry and its contribution to the growth of women's basketball. Her response sparked a strong rebuke from the Women's National Basketball Players Association, which accused her of failing to adequately confront racism and harassment faced by players. Critics argue that her approach reflects a broader tendency to sideline important issues in favor of maintaining the league's image.
I have never seen an organization more committed to self-imploding than the WNBA. A few weeks ago, I made this video highlighting how it appears Brittney Griner said bleep white girl after fouling out in a game against Indiana Fever, the team that Caitlin Clark plays for. Some people like Jamel Hill, former ESPN host, says that no, she didn't say bleep white girl. She says bleep whack call, to which she then went on to call me a grifter for even pointing this out, but besides the point. You can watch and make up your own mind as to what it appears Brittney Griner is saying. It's not certain what Griner says. There is one way to find out. Ask Brittney Griner. However, no one has done that except for Outkick. It's been over 2 weeks since Griner said this. Instead, the WNBA was investigating a bogus race hoax made up by Angel Reese about Indiana Fever fans.
This pattern of responses has raised serious questions about Engelbert's leadership during a pivotal time for the WNBA. Critics contend that her hesitance to strongly condemn misconduct, whether from fans or players, weakens the league's proclaimed values of inclusivity and respect. Her silence regarding the Griner allegations has only heightened these concerns, with some calling for her resignation. Engelbert's approach becomes especially problematic given the WNBA's fragile standing within professional sports. The league has long faced challenges with attendance, TV ratings, and revenue. Caitlin Clark's emergence offered a rare chance for significant growth, evidenced by record-breaking crowds, viewership, and merchandise sales. Yet ongoing controversies and what many perceive as a lack of adequate protection for the league's marquee stars threaten to derail this progress. Critics argue that without stronger leadership and accountability, the league risks eroding the gains made during this critical era.
Look, I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney Griner has not commented, which...
The controversy surrounding Griner's alleged comments must be viewed within the larger context of Caitlin Clark's transformative influence on women's basketball. Clark's college career at the University of Iowa brought unprecedented attention to the sport, with arenas frequently selling out and television audiences rivaling those of men's sports. Her move to the WNBA has continued this momentum, with her games consistently drawing full houses and achieving significantly higher ratings than typical league contests. However, this heightened success has reportedly sparked resentment among some veteran players and fans. The stark contrast in attendance and viewership between Clark's games and other WNBA events has become a point of embarrassment for some within the league, highlighting tensions around her rise and the league's evolving landscape.
Just in the short amount of time that I watched, I remember back a while back before Caitlin was in this, of all these female professional players bitching about not getting paid what the men do, and then it was made clear that when you have the draw, when you can bring in the money, the revenue, the advertising dollars, then you'll get paid more money. Caitlin Clark has made that happen for the entire league, but these girls are doing everything in their power to destroy the golden goose that benefits them as a collective. And the referees, it looks like somebody has paid these high school referees to basically ignore any foul against.
This disparity has fueled tension within the league, with some players perceiving Clark's success as undeserved or overly hyped. Resentment appears to arise partly from the belief that Clark benefits from special treatment by the media, fans, and possibly referees. Some veteran players have voiced frustration that a rookie is garnering more attention, endorsements, and financial opportunities than those who have dedicated years to building the league. Stephen A. Smith has been notably outspoken on this issue, arguing that established players should celebrate Clark's achievements rather than resent them. He emphasizes that Clark's rising popularity has brought tangible benefits to the league, including charter flights for teams, increased television coverage, and higher salaries for players. All positive developments for the W. Smith's criticism of the resentment has struck a chord with fans, who see attacks on Clark as counterproductive to the league's growth and long-term success.
How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records. Merchandise sales were also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth among athletes across all sports.
The Griner-Clark controversy goes beyond a simple dispute between two players. It highlights broader challenges facing women's professional sports related to identity, marketability, and internal dynamics. How the WNBA manages this situation could have significant long-term effects on its credibility and ability to leverage the unprecedented growth opportunities driven by Clark's popularity. The league's apparent hesitance to confront allegations of racial bias while promoting anti-hate initiatives raises concerns about its institutional integrity and consistency. Fans and sponsors increasingly expect organizations to uphold their stated values, especially regarding inclusion and respect, and perceived double standards could undermine trust and alienate both current supporters and potential new audiences. Additionally, the controversy underscores ongoing issues in women's sports surrounding veteran versus rookie status and the equitable distribution of attention and resources. The resentment directed toward Clark's success suggests systemic problems that extend beyond individual conflicts, reflecting deeper structural challenges within the league. To fully capitalize on its recent momentum, the WNBA may need to address these underlying tensions, fostering a more inclusive and unified environment that supports both emerging stars and seasoned players alike.
The Weed Outkick applied for media credentials to cover Brittney Griner's team, the Atlanta Dreams, game on June 6th, to which, shocker, they denied us. We've never had trouble getting media credentials with any professional sports league in the past, but wouldn't you know, now they suddenly have very limited space, which is total baloney. They just want to suppress any sort of uncomfortable inquiries from media.
The controversy involving Brittney Griner's alleged remarks about Caitlin Clark has revealed deep divisions within the WNBA concerning leadership, accountability, and how the league values its top stars. Stephen A. Smith's sharp criticism of Griner and the league's response has struck a chord with fans who see double standards in how different misconduct cases are handled. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's management of various Clark issues has raised serious concerns about her leadership during this pivotal time for women's professional basketball. The WNBA stands at a critical juncture with extraordinary growth opportunities fueled by Clark's rising stardom. Yet internal conflicts and inconsistent governance threaten this momentum. The league's approach, whether it addresses or ignores the controversy, will significantly impact its credibility, fan loyalty, and capacity to capitalize on the attention Clark has brought. As the situation develops, broader issues surrounding institutional accountability and gender dynamics in women's sports remain pressing concerns for stakeholders across the basketball community, shaping the future trajectory of the league. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.